After 17 days stuck in Banbury because of flooding, we're finally free. The lock is open and we're on the move again. There's just a couple of things that happened off camera that we need to fill you in on.
Our weird tales of Banbury coming up.
When it comes to mooring in towns and more populated places like this, people sometimes ask, is it safe? And have we had any issues? This time something did happen that was a bit weird. But we'll get to that in a moment. First, we need to get through this one lock while it's still open and not overflowing with water.
We are leaving Banbury. We don't feel quite warmed up yet, but we're doing it anyway.
We're still heading south on the Oxford Canal in the direction of Oxford. On the other side of the lock, there was a stretch of canal that was definitely on the gritty urban industrial side of things.
Guys everywhere in Banbury.
It's extremely prolific. There's a red one.
But before long, we were out amongst fields again and had many, many lift bridges ahead of us.
As we leave Banbury behind us, let us tell a tale of some of the things we saw that are not on camera. Go. Well, there was the pigeon.
Oh, it was a Pigeon Fancier. That was a good one.
It's not a huge tale, it was just, I thought it was just weird. It was just a weird thing. So when we moved to the second spot in Banbury, one of our sides was looking out on like the back of some shops. So it was like the back of a Holland and Barrett or something. So there would be like staff occasionally walking by like opposite us to get into and out of the shop. So I guess they must have been working in a shop. But two people just walked by and the lady just reached out and there was a pigeon sitting just on the rail. And a lady just reached out and petted it. But she like petted it like you would a cat. Like she went,
knew it.
Like this. Like she didn't just reach out to touch it. She really gave it like a full-on little rub. And the pigeon just acted like that was normal. And I don't think that's normal. Normally pigeons don't let you touch them. It was so weird. And the other lady, was it another woman she was with? I can't remember. The guy didn't act like it was weird either. And they both just acted like it was normal to pet a pigeon. That was just weird, okay? That's all I'm saying. The other thing was the people that knocked on the door.
Oh yes,
You start telling this one while I try
so
to do
there's a swing bridge coming up, but it was kind of about 12 o'clock at night or something like that on I think Saturday, and then we were both still working, so maybe it was Friday, I don't know. We had noise cancelling headphones on, so we couldn't really hear what was going on, but I kind of vaguely got the gist that someone was knocking at the boat. So Kris immediately armed herself and was ready to beat anyone to a pulp.
Someone's knocking on the boat, and I was literally like out there about to fight. Like, what?
Then she opened the porthole and talked to them, and you can describe what they said.
It was a couple, two people, a man and a woman, and I opened the porthole and I was like, hello, and they were like, hi, do you have any room in there for us to sleep? And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, do you have any room? We'll pay for us to sleep, because we were supposed to go to this hotel because there was a Premier Inn right next to us, and we wanted to check in, but then we got there and they said there was no room at the Premier Inn. It's very similar to Jesus.
It's very similar to Jesus. I'm worried that we may have turned away the Banbury Jesus, and
she wasn't pregnant that I know of. Yeah, and so they were like, yeah, we tried to check into the Premier Inn and they said that we couldn't, and now we don't have anywhere to go. So do you have any room to sleep on your boat? And I was like, obviously flat no, like, I'm sorry. Sorry if it was Jesus. So it was obviously really, really weird. And I was just like, oh, no. But, like, really sorry that that's happened. Like, where have you come from? Because I was like, how have you ended up in Banbury at midnight without having a place to stay? Like, it's not like being in, like, central London or something. Like, why are you here? How did you get here? And they said they came from somewhere else, but I don't remember what. It was something else starting with a B. And they just couldn't, like, check into a hotel. And I was like, but maybe it's that they don't let you just walk in. Like, maybe if you just, like, Because they said they had phones, so it wasn't like they were completely like.
And you thought that she had like a designer bag.
So that was the
but
other
we
thing.
thought that might be
She
part of the
had one of those Dior book totes, which is very like aggressively like it says Christian Dior on it and massive. Like it's very aggressively like a designer bag that's saying I'm a designer bag. And they were like dressed quite nicely, which I thought seemed like a way to, you know how scammers tried to not look like scammers, to look like the classic thing of like, oh, I'm just like a normal person that's had this weird thing happen. Because I know there's like a guy in London that wears a suit at like certain stations, and he's like, oh, he's got like a thing on his face, and he's like, oh, I just got robbed and I need 20 quid to get back. But they weren't asking for money, they were asking to stay in our boat overnight. And I was just like, oh,
no,
obviously no, but like maybe you could try like getting a car somewhere, because they said, oh, we've not been in this country for very long. And I was like, okay,
no, I mean, you were very helpful.
I was just like, well, maybe you could get a taxi to like a bigger place if there's like not enough hotel rooms here. Of course, it wasn't even the weekend, it was like a Thursday.
Oh yeah.
Because we were like, why would the Premier Inn, which is massive, be completely sold out on like a random Thursday? It made no sense. But I was like, oh, well, maybe you could get like a taxi to Oxford, where there'll be way more like hotels and B&Bs and stuff. But they were like, and we definitely can't stay here. And I was like, no, no.
But if someone else let them stay on their boat, or,
then they're probably nicer people than us. But I mean, no, it's a no from me, I think.
It had sort of scam written all over it. Even if they didn't, even if it wasn't, they sort of. It felt very strange. And I mean, knocking on a boat at 12 o'clock at night and asking to stay on board is, if someone knocked at your house.
Yeah, I mean, if someone turned up and was like, oh, can I stay at your house? You'd be like, obviously no, but like you try and help them. But even if they said like, oh, we don't have a phone or something, you'd be like, okay, but they did have phones. Yeah. So it was a bit like, I can't help you any more than you can help yourself, because I can Google hotels, but you can Google hotels because you've got a phone that's working.
I mean,
they were like holding
there's
a phone.
plenty of times when we've gone to places and had to get hotels at night, or sleep at the station or something like that. Like,
it's not good.
It's not good, but I think there's a few times where we've been places, then we couldn't get back overnight, so we just waited at the station till 6 in the morning. Oh well, that's the second thing.
So that was just like another weird thing that happened in Banbury. Everyone's always like, if something weird happens on your boat, then maybe they're just like scoping you out or something, so you're best off just moving. But we couldn't move because then the locks were shut, so then we just stayed there, and it just felt a bit like, were they scoping it out or something? I don't know. But if they really were legitimate, I wish them well. But
did you have a third thing?
No, annoyingly I don't have a third thing. I would like it to be a round 3 number, because that's better. But no, I don't have a third thing. I only have 2 things. Oh, but I suppose that shop could be your third thing.
I found this shop that we really thought looked closed because it was covered in mould and there was water pouring in through the roof. But then I just went there and it looked like it was open. Maybe they were just like clearing it out or something, but
maybe it only just started like leaking. But yeah, now we have left Banbury behind us, and we are in a kind of in-between world. I believe the next. Oh, look! Officially, we are actually about to just leave the boundary of Banbury. It says "Welcome to Banbury." I believe the next place is called King Sutton, and it is a quite small village. I'm not sure if King Sutton is a good place to moor or not. Because I think between where the canal is and where the village is, there is a river and a railway, and I don't know if you can get over those things, which is why I think it will be kind of annoying to moor there. So we're probably going to go towards Hiya wharf, where they have services. They have a pump out and everything.
We now need all services. We need coal.
We need everything.
We need everything.
We're freezing to death out here. No, we went and got some coal yesterday. This stretch of the Oxford's a little bit bleak. I don't know if it's the weather. Maybe we're judging it on winter. But it's just very like, there's nothing in the in-between places.
Everywhere that we've been, there's a bit of a weird vibe. I think it's because it is sort of like this road in between everything.
Yeah.
It's sort of
But it's like there's nothing canal side,
Yeah.
but then there's like the motorway kind of really nearby. But there's like, compared to the North Oxford and compared to the Grand Union, there are just so many stretches of like nothing, but not in a kind of sexy rural way, in a more kind of bleak, semi-industrial way. Like, I think it's just not enough pubs and stuff, because when there's pubs and there's moored boats, then there's like nice places to moor, and it's a bit more of a vibe, whereas here it feels like there's no vibe here. No offence to the South Oxford, but yeah, maybe it's just the weather. That is our Banbury Tales for now. Thank you. Spring cometh, not a moment too soon. Okay, we're out. Whew. That look just was like perilous.
Despite us having a bit of a moan about the lack of vibes on this stretch, it was so nice to be back out in the countryside. I don't really have a preference between being moored in rural spots or in more built-up areas. It's the variety of it that I really love. Alternating between a town mooring for convenience, shopping, culture sometimes, with a village mooring for peace and quiet and sheep watching, incredible sunsets, and just the beauty of it all, switching between the two, I think, is the ideal for us. And after staying in Banbury for a bit longer than planned, we were all well overdue, a mooring in the middle of nowhere.
I know.
Wow. Okay.
this is the towpath. Wow.
Is that a deer? Connected in animals today. We've had a lot here. Quite beautiful today.
The wind started picking up as we were looking to moor up, so this day ended quite abruptly, but we stopped for the night and started moving again straight away the next morning.
Whew. We're on the move. We were up late, Andrew was up very late, but we basically had to get up and go today. And we've just had to start by going straight into a lock, which was quite deep. But then on the exit of the lock, there's a bridge directly over it, which has very, very low headroom, which only just cleared our solar panels by like.
And I was
maybe this
watching
much.
from the top by probably about an inch. It was incredibly close.
It was horrible. And then you had to go through it and I had to like duck down and the whole top of it was just covered in cobwebs. It was a really deeply unpleasant experience actually. Couldn't do that one on the way back. It was horrible. But anyway, we're on our way. We've got one more lock and then we're going to go and moor up either by the wharf or go onto the wharf because we need supplies to make us warm. We need coal. So we'll see. It's a very short journey, but who knows.
Before this next lock, there is a river crossing the canal, which we'd heard could get pretty lively sometimes. The flow can push the boat around and make it hard to control, but we didn't have any issues this time and got into the lock completely normally. And this is an unusual lock.
So we're in Einho Lock 33, I think, and it's a bit of a weird one because it's kind of like a double wide lock that only has a single lock entry and exit. So you come into it as if it's one lock, but then inside it's like twice the width. So two boats of our length wouldn't be able to fit in, but one small one could fit in with us next to us. It's quite a weird one. We've never been somewhere like this before. I assume there's some fascinating history about why it is this way, but I don't know it yet.
So that was the entrance. You come in through a single gate, and then it's all big.
I'm going to avoid the edges. It's quite hard to actually stay in the middle of it because the front and the back of our boat are kind of wedged in. And yes, it is raining, yes. And we're in a rush, as always. We're trying to make it to this wharf in 22 minutes to be able to buy a bag of coal so that we don't freeze to death tonight. So the stakes are quite high. I don't think we're very far from there, but we need to like pull up, moor up, grab the trolley, run to the wharf. Wow, what a great little shop. There's a book swap. Absolutely brilliant. Oh my god. I haven't read that yet.
Well, take it
I might
and
need
swap
to
it
get
for...
it and then swap it for something
Yeah.
else. It's a good book swap. A lot of crime.
As soon as we got back with the trolley, the local coal boat happened to be passing, so we picked up another 3 bags of coal from them. We could have saved ourselves the jog to the wharf, but never mind, nothing like a bit of dragging heavy things around. People pay a lot of money for that kind of workout. See you next time, when we'll be back enjoying all the benefits of the countryside while moored up in a beautiful village in Oxfordshire.